What's up, everybody? Worship Team Training Morning Show. Good morning. How are you? Branon Dempsey here of worshipteamtraining.com. Glad to see you guys. It is so great to be back. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Monday. You made it. I just jumped on here early to say hello and give some sweet love to our Periscope viewers. Awesome love to our Facebook Live viewers. So good to have you. Man, how are you? It's been so long. Excuse me, I gotta adjust some things a little bit. Wow, we have so much happening, but we got you. We got you guys happening today. How are you? We already got people jumping on board on Periscope, and you guys coming with us on Facebook Live. We dual broadcast every day, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. I'm Branon Dempsey. I'm the CEO and founder of worshipteamtraining.com, where we do exactly what we say. We train worship teams. Mona Lisa Lupe, what's up? Good morning. And we work with worship teams, worship leaders just like you, hands-on training to do workshops, 1-2-day events at your church. I have people saying that I was in the Bahamas all this time for a week. That's not true. Bahamas and I had one thing in common, water, and that was it. Everything else, we were under. Well, actually, we weren't under, but I'll get to that in a second. So, we also do mentoring, and we mentor worship leaders like you. We also work with pastors, audio tech, singer, musicians. We have a lot of people on board ready to go. Laura Marriott is on with us today on Periscope watching us live. So, connect with her because we got some great stuff coming from Laura tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Free vocal webinar. It's going to be all right. Absolutely. So, yes, yay, Laura. We got some fantastic stuff, and man, anyway, who are these broadcasts for? Well, they're for you. If you are a worshiper, pastor, singer, musician, worship leader, sound tech, this is what we do. We bring you encouragement and content every day. I'm going to talk more about that and have more ways that you can get it in just a little bit. But man, we are so excited to have you back. To have you. I miss you guys. Share the love. We're talking about that today. Loving your neighbor as yourself. Loving your worship team member and church member and everybody around you as yourself. And man, this is awesome. So if you would, please take this time right now and share this out with your friends. If you're watching on Facebook Live, please hit the share button and share this out with your friends. If you're also watching us by Periscope, slide over on Apple, swipe up and down on the screen, and share it out with your friends. Share this out on Twitter, Facebook Live, Periscope. Thanks so much. If you like what you hear today, and you're watching us by Periscope, you can tap on the screen to give us hearts, like tapping on the worship leader hair, worship leader glasses. If you're Facebook Live, you can send a heart right here to the worship leader hair. Worship leader hair, let me just tell you about worship leader hair, okay? Worship leader hair had a really good week. He was chill, okay? He grew a little bit, had to put him down with some product, and he didn't like that too much. So we had a little come to Jesus worship leader hair meeting, and he straightened out, and he's back on board. He's awesome. He's got little diva right there. We had to take care of that too. Worship leader Sideburn doing great. I'm just laughing. Look, this is how we have fun every day. This is that little segment right there. If you're not familiar with it, we do that on Periscope. We've been doing that for a year. We call it Worship Leader Hair Time. All right. So all of our good friends at Periscope know what's up. Now Facebook Live, you know what's going on. And simply we joke because we want engagement and interaction. So if you like what you hear, please type in your comments in the comment window and let us know what's up. You never know, by you asking a question, sending us a comment, letting us know your thoughts, you may be ministering to other people that you have no idea. Let me just tell you, on the low end, we have 20,000 of you that come in on Facebook alone each week. We have another 30,000 that comes in on Twitter each week. Periscope, YouTube, and our own site, even on our own site, it's like 30,000 a week. So we crest way over 80,000 reaching worship team members, worship leaders, and worshipers all across the globe. So look, we just say that to encourage you because there's a lot of people who actually watch these broadcasts, and shout out and big love to you. Thanks for coming, because a lot of you guys watch us and you're not even in a worship team, but you just want to know more about worship. And Chaplain right here, thank you. He says the lessons are great, always great, from St. Clair, Michigan. Thank you so much, Chaplain. He's watched us from Periscope. If you got something to say, it's a huge family. Laura, and Laura Marriott makes it even more special. So you guys are incredible. Let's see, God sends you as our oxygen to do what we do every day, and we love it. Big shout out to Kelly, our content media manager, doing so many things happening. There she is right there, Kelly. Say hello on Facebook Live. Kelly is fantastic. And man, I just want to take a moment also just to say thank you. All of you guys have been praying for us. Thank you so much for praying for us during the flood that we had. I mean, Stevie Ray Vaughan has been praying. Stevie Ray Vaughan, we've been playing Texas Flood and The Sky is Crying like all week, okay? It's been hellacious. If I could put that in a word, I don't know. Welcome, Rick, thank you, man. I've missed all of you so dearly and deeply. We covet your prayers. Thank you for your prayers because, man, it was not pretty. Cyprus is where we live. Cyprus is where our studio is. And we got hammered. I mean, the good thing is that nothing got flooded, but all the access roads around us got shut down. I had to actually duck out and close down the whole week. So my shout out to Kelly. You're awesome. I shifted over a lot of work to our guys, Kelly, Neil, Michael, also our Hangout team. And, excuse me, just carrying on the broadcast and stuff and the posting and the content. So thank you for that. And thank you guys also for, I got a lot of emails from you guys. Hey, when are you coming back? A lot of comments. So thank you so much. Gosh, I love you guys. I miss y'all. And it hasn't been the same. But I will tell you, thank you, Tanya. She says, important, great team around you. Thank you so much, Tanya, for that. And Liz and other people chiming in right now on Periscope, Facebook Live. Love you guys. By the way, if this is your first time to the Scope, there's a lot to catch up on, but we say thank you for coming and welcome. We are so glad to have you. If you would please invite your friends and share this out because we talk about real issues regarding worship, worship leadership, what happens in your church, and most of all, what makes everything work every day is you. We want to hear from you today. So, talking, kind of backtracking a little bit, yes, Chaplain and others, if you want to know, if you want to see the replays of these broadcasts, we have them constantly running on Facebook. That's our Facebook page, Worship Team Training. And also, you can find it on our website, worshipteamtraining.com. We have, thank you, MZ Cuts. You're so sweet. She says she's asked her team to follow us. Thank you for that. We have about 500 articles on worshipteamtraining.com. And we're migrating some more videos over. We have about, on YouTube, we have somewhere like, I don't know, the upwards of 800 videos, I'm not sure. But now you can catch the replays on YouTube also. We're loading those over as well. We're loading a lot over from the site, so content every day. But I just wanted to say thank you for your prayers for us. We were fine. Just a lot of high water. Couldn't get anywhere, but we were good. Our refrigerator went out in the process, but not a big deal. Yes, Elaine, I know you follow me on Snapchat. Thanks for that. Not a big deal. We got that stuff replaced. Look, you figure out what's important real quick, right? There's no other way to put it. And that's kind of today's topic. When we talk about love and loving people as God tells us to love them as ourselves, because that has everything to do with worship, how we worship God, how we lead it, how we live it. Amen? So that's what we're here to talk about today. So glad that you're with us. Spent a lot of great time with the family. The school was out, so it was crazy. I will tell you that the bell is still ringing, okay? Let me just say that. It hasn't stopped. The boys finally went back to school today, so that was good. But man, throughout the whole week, we had such great quality time. It was awesome. And you can't get enough of family, and just like you guys. Anyway, all that to say, we're back. We're ready to go. We got some stuff coming at you. Are you ready? We're ready to hit it. We got some great stuff coming. So thank you so much. Here's what we got coming up today. Perfect Purpose. That's what we're going to be talking about. That is today's show. Also, you can follow us on Twitter. That's at WorshipTT. If you don't know what Twitter is, come on. I mean, we've been living here in the 21st century now for quite a while. So look us up. Follow us. Thank you. Leonard is awesome. He says, worship in the key of love. Good word on that, Leonard. Thank you for that. Leonard's coming out from Periscope over here. So Twitter, at WorshipTT. I got some other exciting news I'm going to announce in a second. Okay, but let's keep going. Follow us on Snapchat. Add us. If you're not already, look, Snapchat is the hottest social media medium for communication. We love it. We've been getting used to it. We've been doing video clips on it, stills, and creating what we call a Snapchat story, in which you will see exclusive content. If you like what you hear on our broadcast every day, you like what you see on the blog post on worshipteamtraining.com, you will love what we do over at Snapchat, because we have crazy fun, a lot of funny moments, but also a lot of thoughts that I share personally that I don't share here on the broadcast. So what do you have to do? All you got to do is follow us on download Snapchat, and that's going to your app store if you're subscribed to Apple or Google Play or Droid, and look for Snapchat, download it, and then search add WorshipTT. And if you didn't catch, you take a screenshot of that. So take a screenshot. Come on, I'm waiting. Hurry up. There you go. All right, good. And so you can also do the same thing following us on Twitter, because we put all of our links up there on Twitter, and we make it we try to make it extremely easy for you to follow. Okay, so we got a lot of stuff out there. You can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. But, all right, so here we go. Victoria, what's up? Good morning from Facebook Live. Great to see you. Therese, my favorite worship leader on Periscope. Man, there is so much catching up to do. Isaac, how are you, my brother? ¿Cómo estás? A lot of great people coming in right now in South America, also from Mexico. We have a lot of you watching us, as well as I want to thank you guys from the West African churches, because over the weekend we've had a lot of emails from the West African churches asking how we're doing. And you have worship teams out there. You're leading worship in Kenya, and Nigeria, and Ghana. There's a lot of countries out there. So we say thank you, because you've been asking us for resources. We've been giving it to you. And it's just incredible to see what God is doing through you. So thank you guys for sharing us out. And we want to share everything that we got for you. So what else do we have coming up here for you? Awesome. Praise, what's up? The Praiza on Periscope. So let us know what's going on with you. Oh, look, Laura Marriott, she's watching us right now. Laura Marriott webinar, vocal webinar tomorrow. It's free. We have nearly 300 people signed up already, and we still have room for you. It's very easy. All you need to do is go to this site right here, worshipteamtraining.com/events. And when you go to that link, you will find the registration that takes you directly to that place. And we will get you going with a free webinar, vocal webinar, with Laura Marriott. Oh, there's no pressure, Laura. No pressure at all. She's watching this live right now. She could do that. She could do it right now if she wanted to. I could just lip sync it for you. How about that, Laura? You just talk through Periscope, and I'll just lip sync everything that you have to say, right? Not right, because that wouldn't work too well. It wouldn't be pretty. No, we're not going to do that. But anyway, if you want to see the real deal, tune in tomorrow. Did I say that? Why am I saying tune in? It's just click in. Would you just click the link? Yeah, Laura could do this in her sleep. That's what Periscope is saying right now. Okay, so go to the website, worshipteamtraining.com/events. Click on the link. Register today. Free. You can't get any better than that. It's awesome. Also, we're going to be talking about our mentoring program. If you are a worship leader, pastor, musician, singer, audio tech, and maybe you're looking for that next step of where to go, how to get there, how can it be clearer, we have a resource right here for you. And plus, if you go to the website right now and sign up at the form and type in free, I will personally give you one free session right here today. So no problem. No pressure. No pressure. That website again is worshipteamtraining.com/mentoring. All right. So let's get on. Perfect Purpose. One great big news that happened over this past week and also last week. I just want to say a big shout out. Are you ready? Big shout out, number one, to New Point Church. New Point Church has been our home and love for a few months now. I've been serving over there as interim worship leader, and that's in the Stafford area in Texas. And just my sweet, big heart love to the worship team, Pastor Tom, all the worship leaders, the worship team out there, Ayo, Eno, Diane, I love you guys. And yesterday, bittersweet, yesterday was my last day to lead worship there. And wow, my wife, boys, and I, we spent our time there at the church and just had a great, marvelous time getting to know the people, to say, you know, we're continuing the relationships. We did a lot of great music. We did a lot of Israel Houghton and Ricardo Sanchez and just Hezekiah Walker. Threw it off the wall, man. It was just so much fun. And we're going to miss you guys. But we're still connected because a lot of you guys are connected to us on Bible.com through YouVersion. And if you haven't done that, you need to do that now because we got devotional series out as well. And that's how they're staying on board with us. But just a big shout out to New Point Church. Love you guys. And thank you so much for embracing us and making that a home for us that we can enjoy worship and service together. The second big news is now, big shout out to, we are returning to, I would say, our first love. Our first love goes out to the Family of Faith Church in Houston, Texas. We are returning to the Family of Faith, and man, we couldn't be more thrilled. And it's just been a God thing. This has been an awesome ministry that I came in back in 2001. And now, 2016, I served there for about 4.5 years, and that's where God called me to start worship team training. And now we're going back. So it's this really cool circle that God has been forming, and our prayers have always been with the people. Big shout out to Pastor Doug Kringle, who's just a servant awesome of God, and how he's been shepherding the flock. Great people, Lowell Johnson, Dave Mann, Cora Nash. I mean, just so many great people. The elders. I mean, just my wife and I have been praying and always have been keeping the church family in our prayers. And now that we're coming back home, it's incredible. I mean, I can't even put it into words. But big shout out again, love to Pastor Tom and also Pastor Doug. Love you guys. It's just been incredible. So, Elaine, I want to get back to your question. No, I'm not familiar, but Elaine's asked me a question. I know anybody from Corinth. No, I don't, unfortunately. I'm sorry. But we know you guys, and we know the people over at Family Faith, and it's just, this is our first week back, so we got rehearsal this coming Thursday. And so I thought, you know, as we're in this making process of getting things rolling, Kelly, our content media manager, myself and other contributors, we've been putting stories together for this week and trying to theme out, you know, as far as trying to theme out what is important for your ministry and church. And so this is why we come up with Perfect Purpose. And so when I think about home, I think about Family of Faith. I mean, everywhere we go, it's just been that way. And it's just a delight to be back and serve with these guys. So you're going to be seeing, I'm going to be bringing you with us. All right, would you like that? I'll bring you to some clips of rehearsal and stuff like that. We'll do some fun things around. But the people are just awesome. I'm probably not going to show them on camera because, you know, not everybody likes to be on camera. But that's why I'm here. That's why I do this. Anyway, okay, Laura, love you. Laura Marriott tomorrow. Okay, don't forget, she's going to be with us at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Sign up today at worshipteamtraining.com/events. Let's get on with it. Perfect Purpose. Here we go. Most of the time, we don't realize the outcome of the events. I think a lot of the time, we as leaders in the church, whether we're volunteers or not, I believe that our behaviors and actions are a lot louder than our words, right? By the way, now, if you want to comment on the show and give us some thought, share a question, please do that. And I'll read them as fast as I can. Facebook Live and also here on Periscope. So let's get right to it. Even when we may feel otherwise, right? God is always working something larger in you. And it's not about the prize, it's about the process. And that's what we're here to talk about today, called Perfect Purpose. Now, if you would like to follow us today and what I'm talking about and you want to see the notes, you can do that right now, actually. You can go to worshipteamtraining.com, and at the very bottom of the feed, well, I should say maybe the top of the feed, we have a blog section at the bottom half of our website, and today's article is called Perfect Purpose. So you'll find that article there at worshipteamtraining.com. You can read along, or you can check it out later. We're also going to be posting this video right there. And thank you also, those of you watching us by replay, YouTube, and Facebook Live. So you guys are awesome. Periscope, love you. So let's get right to it. This is exactly the point, what I'm talking about. This is really about more what God is doing versus what we're doing. When it comes to that perfect place, I mean, what is that like for you? What is your ministry like? You know, where are you serving right now? Is it that ideal place? Has it been that ideal place for you? I speak with so many worship leaders every day and worship team members that just get frustrated of where they are. It's a reality. Here's how I look at it. I spoke with a lot of team members last week. Some that are frustrated about past events and some that maybe have broken relationships. Here's the way I see it. God is not calling you and I to perfect the places and where we are. He's not called us to fix it. This is when we rely on the Holy Spirit and the power of the church for God to work through them, for God to fix it. We have our own responsibilities. And the worst thing that we can do is to carry around hurt where it infects other people. All that does is debilitate the ministry of which we serve. More importantly, it cripples the church of whom we're serving with. So that's why this topic for me is extremely important. When I started out back, like I mentioned, our old church at Family of Faith, this was a place where it was organic. We had people that just wanted to serve, people who were really just deep into the Word, but we had those that weren't. There's no perfect place in where you serve. We had, just like today in your own ministry, everyone has their own opinions about how to do things. That's fine. But the art and the beauty of a ministry is how all those things work together, and you and I as leaders and what we do about it. It's not about complaining about other people. I spoke with, like I said, worship leaders just previously that were telling me, man, they can't stand this person in their team, or they just don't like this person in their church. You know what? It's okay if you have differences. It's learning how to work through it. And look, I'm living proof. I mean, I'm speaking right now with the pastor coming in, and we're talking about things of, hey, what can we do together to get everybody on board? Hey, what are some ideas that we have that we can collaborate with the team to help? Because that is where you find synergy within worship. That is where you find the true leading and essence of what leading worship is about. And when you make music that's beautiful, and you spend time at your craft, you practice, you do things well, man, it makes worship that much more beautiful, not only to God, but it reaches people. Isn't that the kind of service that you think about? Isn't that kind of maybe the ideal scenario that we all have in our hearts? Why can't we do that today? Look, I know things are hard, and trust me, I've spoken with a lot of worship leaders last week, some that were just downright angry with what's going on. And my thought is this, it's like what I tell our boy. I told our oldest boy last night, look, you know what, it's okay that you say, I don't agree or I'm upset. It's actually good to get that out in a safe way by surrounding yourself with safe people, not blurting it out that could cause damage. But it's always better, take the high road, work it out with people that you know. And you know what, much of the time, I find this too. I think the bigger conflict that we find in our churches, I think the biggest conflict we find in our worship team, I think the largest conflict that we can ever see within our own leading and ministry comes from ourselves. I know that's probably a ton of bricks, because you know what? I have to look in the mirror every day. And I have to ask the Lord, God, what do you want to change within me? Because it's not about what I do. It's not about what I envision. It's not about the things that I want. It's really about the things that you want. It's what you desire. It's how you're directing me. And am I allowing you to do what you want in my life? Let me just tell you, I spent a long time before I led worship. Yes, I was saved. I came to Christ by faith when I was 9 years old. I was baptized and I had all that stuff, I went to Sunday school, yeah. But I still lived in this little crazy world of, but I can still try to have my Christian cake and eat it too. It doesn't work. Why? Because God wants all, not half. When you read the connection of the Old Testament and how it just combines together with the New Testament, this is where we get the covenant from, the New Covenant. We see this fantastic display of God's Old Testament law coming together with the grace of Christ. And why is that important? Because we see God making things all new all over again. And He can't do that with you if you're only giving Him half. And so for me, I was 18 and I remember kneeling down and I'm like, God, I'm tired of trying to have this my own way. And I remember to this day, I remember that God just spoke very clearly to my heart and just said, Branon, then why don't you just give it to me? I mean, the biggest fear that I had was that I didn't feel perfect. I didn't feel like I had it all together. I didn't feel like I could do things in a perfect way to make things great or extravagant or wow people. I was broken. And then God reminded me very quickly by the searching of the scriptures that brokenness is exactly what Jesus is looking for. Isn't that awesome? You don't need to be like anybody else leading worship. You don't need to be the rock star. You don't need to be the superstar. All you need to be is you. I mean, Kelly and I were talking about this this morning when we're strategizing and talking about, hey, these are some things that we hear that other churches and worship leaders are going through. And so this is the reason, thanks Sean, and also Tanya said, amen, this one's for me. Sean on Periscope says, the comparison trap. Hashtag hate that. Absolutely. Amen to you guys. Thank you for that. So look, and I just say this again, when you guys comment, when you email us, when you message us, when you Snapchat us, we are putting these articles together because you let us know what's on your mind. This is how all this stuff works. So you're awesome. So thank you. Keep it coming. I mean, come on. I'm serious. I challenge you. Let us know. Now, the thing that we don't do here at Worship Team Training, we don't get on soapboxes to talk bad about leaders, the church, or what your pastor's doing. No, because none of that works. None of it's healthy. God calls us to equip the church and to build one another up. Again, it's holding up the mirror. Because if you're going to hold up a stop sign to somebody else, on the other side of that stop sign is a mirror, and it's staring right back at you. I know because I look at that mirror every day throughout the day. And what's that called? The scriptures. It's the word. What freaked me out yesterday, you want to hear this? What freaked me out yesterday, Pastor Tom in his message yesterday talked about the story, if you remember, in Numbers 22, the book of Numbers chapter 22, I think it's 22 if I'm right, where the donkey actually talks back to Balaam. Balaam is going against God to basically the enemy, remember this, the enemy wanted Balaam to come put a curse on the Israelites. And God told Balaam not to do that. God told Balaam, do not go. Balaam went anyway. And there he is on his donkey trying to go to the king. And God's telling him no, right? And then what happens? God sends an angel right in his path 3 times. And the donkey swerved each time. And each time when he swerved, Balaam would beat his own animal. And then finally, God put the word in a donkey's mouth. I mean, this has got nothing on Shrek, right? And so the donkey said, why are you beating me? Have I not done everything that I'm supposed to do for you? And when you look at it that way, that was and then And then Balaam said, yes, you're right. Basically, he was agreeing with him. Now, what's interesting about that story is that the donkey basically saved his you-know-what, right? And through that act, Balaam didn't see it until later. But I think that's like us. We are so quick to just plow ahead. I mean, even me, that's my weakness, all right? I get super excited about things that I want to do. And my board, my pastor, my, let's say, mentoring team that's around me, they pull me back and they're like, Branon, hold on a second. That's great, but you got to think about A, B, and C down the road, all right? My pastor and I talked about that over the weekend too. The new pastor that I'm going to, even the pastor that I just left from. And it's more about keeping God's word center in your life and not departing to the right or to the left. But when God sends that angel in your way, are you going to heed him? And then even better than that, are you going to listen to him, or does he have to send an angel in your way to get your attention? Perfect. Sean says this from Periscope: have seen God save me from many unhealthy places. Sean, thanks for that. Absolutely. I mean, there's so... I think, a wise pastor, and I love you pastors because y'all do such incredible work that nobody sees. And let me just say right now, Pastor, thank you for everything that you are doing, because we, your church, do listen. And I know this because I speak with pastors every day. And I know that when they go home at night, they feel alone because they feel like their own church is not listening. Let me tell you something. They are listening. Much of the time, it's so hard, as you know, for people to look into the mirror and they don't want to see the truth. I saw a quote today, and I can't remember where it's from, but the quote was like this: if the mirror that you look at reflects your character more than your image, people will be less likely to look into their own reflection. It's true. And so hats off to you pastors, because you guys do the hard work. Worship leaders, you do the hard work that nobody else sees, but God does see it, and you're not alone. The reason why I say that is because, again, go back to that story of my own testimony. When I'm on my knees and I'm like, God, I cannot do this myself. I need you. And I had no idea. I had no idea that I was being led in the ministry. Had no idea. I was 19 years old. And then there I was. I mean, check this out. I had a full 4-year scholarship to go to Berklee School of Music. Paid for, done. All I had to do is just get a plane ticket and go to Boston. But I had a major car accident in my life that nearly debilitated me forever. I was confined to a wheelchair. I had spinal, back, muscle, and nerve damage that lasted for a 7.5-year recovery. I had to learn how to manage pain naturally without medicine. The damage that was in my spinal column and nerves were fibrocystic, so it was too deep and too dicey to perform surgery. So the doctor said, Branon, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to heal naturally. You call that perfect? If you have any kind of back injury or neck injury, you understand exactly what I'm talking about, because you feel like the wheels have just come off and there you are, just a parked vehicle in the street, flooded. That's exactly how I lived my life for 7.5 years. But I will tell you this: God put those wheels back on, and I never knew what He was doing in that, where He was leading me in that process. But I knew there was a process involved. So I say that today because you may not be happy where you are, but like the old adage always says, and it's true, it really can always be worse. So you thank God for the things that are good, and you praise God for the things that are not worse. And maybe it's not perfect, but that's exactly the kind of place that Jesus wants us, so that He can heal, that He can restore, that He can forgive, that He can make new. I mean, doesn't that sound good? Doesn't that sound way better instead of us trying to fight and have our own way? I mean, I come back to that every day. And some of you guys, some of our friends out here right now watching know my story. You know where I've come from. You know the back injury and pain that I had that goes all the way back to December of '92. And now I have zero pain. I mean, I'm playing sports every day. I go work out. I can throw my kids up in the air. No, wait a minute. I can't do that because that causes more injury. That was when they were way smaller, okay? But the point I'm making is that it wasn't some magic pill that God sent to my life. It wasn't some magical moment that God said, Brandon, you're going to be healed forever. No, I had to learn 7.5 years of mercy and grace through pain. And I lived it every day. And that is where exactly I found my calling for ministry. I was always doing music. I've done music since I was 5 years old. I started out playing drums. I went to guitar, keyboard, singing. I played music all through school. And I found myself teaching in high schools, junior highs. Later on when I was in college, I was a college teaching assistant. And I went on board with like ProMark drumsticks. I was endorsed by them, and I taught everywhere throughout Texas and their education school systems and school districts. I did everything from choir to orchestrations to orchestras. And I studied composition. I did performance and voice and piano and guitar. I had percussion, way down already. And I studied as much as I could. And every day I would carry a pillow with me to go to class so my back can rest upon it. And God created a beautiful life out of that I wouldn't have known had I gone somewhere else. And more importantly, I wouldn't have met my sweet wife, Heather. Heather has been with me through the whole process. And when I look back over this huge circle that God has done, it's an incredible journey. And yeah, you bet, there were times that I just wanted to throw in the towel. There were times I just wanted to quit. There were times where I just said to myself, this is not perfect. It's not going to work out. God, how can you make this happen? But even in the midst of me venting all that stuff out, I still received His grace and mercy in times of need. Because isn't that true? What Paul says, that His grace is sufficient for us. And I had to learn that. And so that was my entryway of going into ministry. It wasn't this big aha moment, oh, I can do music, now I got to go into church. It wasn't that way at all, trust me. I spent 3.5 years flat on my back before I could really start doing music in the church. I had pastors come to the house, elders praying over me. It was horrible. Would I do it again? Yes. I would do it again. Because there were things that I've learned way back then that served as a bedrock for what I'm doing right now. I share that testimony because I believe in what God's doing through you. There is nothing that can stand in God's way and His plan and His will for the calling that He's already placed on your life. The question is, are you trying to perfect it? Or are you letting Him do the perfection? Are you letting Him fulfill His purpose through you? Thanks, Sean. He thanked me for sharing my perspective on that. Thank you. This is what it's about. I mean, leading worship is not about getting up behind your instrument and acting like you're all that. Who cares? I mean, really, people don't come to the worship service to hear you play. Just being honest. They don't. We come together for worship to worship God. Period. To follow what the Word says, to make music and melody within our hearts by relationships and by leading one another. Yeah, I'll say it again. Just shout out from the Praiza from Periscope. Thanks for that, the Praiza. God has not designed you. God has not designed you for you to show up and for people to listen to you play or hear you sing. He hasn't called me, Branon, that you must go up so that people can see you lead and watch you play guitar. That if that is, I should go home right now. Because that is not the calling that God's placed on our lives. Look, you may have a talent, and that's awesome. You may have a craft and a skill, and that's what God's given you. But how are you using it? Or let me put it this way. How are you allowing God to use it? Hal, thanks for the shout out. Hal, one of our awesome favorite team members here, starting out with our editing and video production work here at Worship Training. Hal, love you, man. We got to get connected soon again. He's coming on board, and we're trying to get him caught up. But the question is, how are you allowing God to do what He wants through your craft, through your abilities of music? Because it's not about you. It's so far from it. And so many, I mean, so many guitar players, singers, whatever, show up and they plug in and it's like, man, I'm here. And it's like they can't take direction from their worship leader. They don't follow what the pastor says. They got some beef or chip on their shoulder. And it's like, you know what? That does not lead worship. That detracts worship, and it causes dissension. It causes dissension within your team. It disconnects people from worship. Do you think that people don't see that? But you're too busy trying to perfect everything, right? Don't you know that your church, when they watch you lead worship, that you may be behind the mixing board, you may be behind the keyboard, you may be behind the drums, behind the microphone, but don't you realize that people really do watch what you do, not just what you say? And if you have like just some grunt against somebody else, don't you know that the church sees that? And how does that lead people into worship? If you have one of those imperfect types of relationships with people within your church, you need to bury what you're doing right now and go to them and make it right at the foot of Jesus. That's it. I tell my worship team members, before we go out and lead worship, go and shake hands with people. Just go, and if you have an issue with somebody else, deal with it right away. Yeah, humility speaks loudly, so does pride. Thanks for that, Sean. I mean, this is what gets me fired up because this is such a real issue, and it's so true. And I really believe that when we put Christ in the center of our focus in leading worship, and we bring down the walls of pride, and even musically, look, playing music is not hard. I mean, all you need to do is just follow what the team is doing, follow what the worship leader is doing, follow the wave that the pastor sets, and partner with your pastor in your church, and make music as a team. Don't make music unto yourself. Don't do that. You got to sing what the church is already singing, because if not, you're just doing a different song. Victoria from Facebook Live says this: yes, because the spirit you bring into the church will be the spirit you usher over the congregation when you worship. Amen to that, sister. Thank you for that, Victoria. So true. You know, I know there's a lot of times that I don't feel like, put it this way, I have my imperfections before I lead worship. I mean, look, think of it. You know, you start out, you know, our boys can be throwing a fit. I mean, you know, they're young children. That's going to happen. Something happens to the car, or, you know, maybe the coffee was bad that morning, or maybe, you know, something's hanging over in your mind, whatever it was from the weekend or from the past week. And those things, I think they function in two incredible ways. Number one, the one incredible way they can function, all these imperfections, is that if we allow it, they can debilitate us from leading worship. And look, when I say leading worship, I mean you. Yes, you. You are a guitar player, drummer, audio tech, whatever it may be, singer, choir member. You are a leader of worship because you're before the people leading God's people in praise, period. But I believe that these imperfections, when they come our way, we have the opportunity to, we are either going to allow them to debilitate us, or we are going to allow God to liberate us. And that in itself, I mean, you can still be having a bad day, but you can still worship. It's not about going up there and, you know, smiling and waving the arm, snapping the finger. I mean, that is fake. I really believe that the transparency of a team, of a pastor, of a worship leader, of an audio tech, I think that transparency is what really leads people into worship. And you're just like, look, here I am. Lord, I want to worship you, and everyone together, let's sing unto his name, and let's sing out the prayers that God has put in our hearts this week. What prayers has he been putting in your heart? That has everything to do with how we lead worship. So I'm kind of, you know, going off a little bit. I know that I've probably been saying some things that are a little deep, but I know that these are the things that you guys message us every day. So I'm just trying to deliver that to you, and my prayer is that you take these broadcasts and you do something with them. That God is already speaking to your heart right now. I don't know what He's saying to you, but my prayer every day when I get up to do these broadcasts is that He takes something and puts it in your heart and mind of whatever that He's speaking, and to use it for His glory. So to finish up, and we are nearing towards the end right now of the broadcast, so if you have any last minute comments, questions, thoughts, ideas, even if you got a new topic for another show that we can do, hey, hit us up and let us know. Just comment right here, right now, or send us a message later on. But I wanted to share this. I wanted to share this quote from Frederick Buckner, who said this: "The place God calls you to is the place where your deep gladness and the world's deep hunger meet." Wow. Say that again. The place God calls you to is the place where your deep gladness and the world's deep hunger meet. So if you're glad about something, but people are hungry, how are you feeding them when you're leading worship? How are you building into your team? Chaplain asked this question on Periscope right now: what's more important, sound or the atmosphere of worship? Great question. Great question. I think they go hand in hand. You have to have a conducive environment for worship in order to make great music. And that means by shelving the attitude, making the music purposeful, and hearts being in unity. I think that has to happen first before we hit the stage. I mean, hands down. And then what we do with that musical ability should be an outflow from our character. Sean says this: good atmosphere created by good sound, they go hand in hand. Yes, so I mean, the more and more that we allow God to create that environment, I mean, man, isn't that just so good? Isn't that just so good that can't you just see that happening in your church? And now we wonder, well, why don't people sing in our services? But you know, maybe if we approached our services differently, maybe we can actually hear God speak. Maybe, just maybe, God already is speaking through the imperfections because He wants to perfect His purpose through you. Love you guys. You're awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the broadcast today. The Worship Team Training Show, morning show. We're back. And man, we got some more stuff coming tomorrow. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We got more devotionals coming up. Also, let me just ask the question. Are some of you in need of help with Planning Center Online? We've been getting a lot of questions about that. Of, hey, can you write an article about it? Can you show some tips and tricks? My shout out to Chris Denning, who actually is one of the spokespersons for Planning Center. He's like the guru out there, and he's got some awesome stuff. So you need to Google him, Chris Denning, and find out. He's got a lot of awesome things to say. Let me ask you, are you going through that right now? Do you need some Planning Center Online help? Tips and tricks? Go ahead and just type us in, or leave a comment. Let us know. We want to hear it from you. So coming up tomorrow, do not forget, yes, Laura Marriott, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, and that is at worshipteamtraining.com/events. So make sure that you find us there, Laura Marriott, vocal webinar. Thanks, Hal. Hal's tweeting us out right now on Twitter. Thank you for that, brother. Go to that free webinar tomorrow, worshipteamtraining.com/mentoring. It's free. You'll find all the stuff there. You'll see me. Better yet, you're going to see Laura. Laura's awesome, amazing heart, an awesome, incredibly gifted, talented singer. I mean, and man, what a heart to match that voice. And you can't get any better than that. So Laura Marriott, hey, she's going to bring it tomorrow. Be sure that you're here with us, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, worshipteamtraining.com/events. Sign up today with all the other 300 people that will be coming. And so our mentoring, if you feel like maybe you're in this step that you're missing, maybe it's a little hazy, a little misty, we are here for you at worshipteamtraining.com. And it's to walk side by side with you. If you're a worship leader, pastor, musician, singer, audio tech, we do mentoring every day. And we have a lot of people joining us. So we invite you we ask, would you invite us onto your journey? We're here to help. So really, really fantastic and interested in seeing what God has for you, and we want to be a part of that. So check us out at worshipteamtraining.com/mentoring. It's a 10-week program. It's about an hour a week based around your schedule. That's how it works. And you meet with me live, one-to-one, or you can choose Tony Guerrero. You can choose Laura Marriott. You can choose all the fantastic staff that we have at worshipteamtraining.com. We meet with you one-to-one on a week-to-week basis, live. We have a book that we work out of, as a book that I had written, and also a fantastic leadership guide. And so we're here to help you develop the leadership for you and your ministry. So check it out. So be sure, as I was saying before, Snapchat, WorshipTT, add us there. And until then, my friends, thank you so much for joining us today on the Worship Team Training Morning Show. We will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And every now and then on Periscope and maybe Facebook Live, I'll come back at you doing some music, because it's been a long time since we've done guitar and some keyboard stuff. We're gearing all that stuff back at you, so you're not going to miss it. Join us next time soon. We'll give you the heads up on Twitter. Be sure to follow us at WorshipTT. Love you. Gotta go for now. Have an awesome day in Jesus, and we'll see you guys back very soon. Love you. Have a good one. Bye.